Hey guys, I'm Margie with Main Street Vacation Planners, and this is Catherine. And
Hello.
We are headed to Disneyland in 3 days. And so we hopped on Instagram and just asked, hey, what do you want to know? We're going to do a pre-trip video, and we have some of your questions, and we're going to answer them all in this one video. All right, so the first question is, why are you going? So a lot of my trips revolve around my husband's work schedule. So he does travel a lot. And when he travels, I try to think of something fun to do with the kids if it's an appropriate time to travel. So this time I was looking at all of our options. Disney World, but they've been so many times. Universal, I just surprised my boys with that trip. So Disneyland was kind of like this, there's no way this is gonna happen, but let me just look anyway. And I looked at flights and I found out that I could fly my entire family, well, me and my 3 kids, all the way from the East Coast, North Carolina, to Disneyland and back for 44,000 American Airlines points. So when I found that out, I was like, this is a no-brainer. We have to do this. And then the next step, usually when I book a trip or start thinking about a trip, I involve Catherine and I'm like, listen, this is what we're doing. Do you guys want to do it? And it just, it's always an easy invite for me because our kids, they line up, they get along really well. And it was going to be, it's usually a good mesh. What have we done together, Catherine? You and I have done Universal with our families.
Yeah. Disney World with our families.
Disney World with our families. Out west trip with our families.
Mm-hmm.
And then you and I did Disneyland.
And Disneyland. Yes.
Oh, we did the girls trip. Yes. And so we have done Disneyland together. So that's kind of why am I going? Why are the Mercers going? What about you guys?
Yeah, and I feel like we have a very similar Disney philosophy as well.
Yes.
Like the way that we want to go on a trip and experience all the things and go hard and have fun together aligns really well. So that's always a lot of fun. For me, Disneyland always felt like without an external reason, it was just too far. Like Disney World is our home park.
So far.
We can get there so easily. There's so much there. Disneyland is smaller. California flights are expensive. Just like go down the list. And eventually I got to the point where you said it, I'm like, this is the window. This is the moment that it's like, I don't know if we're going to go back with our kids. Like I said, I'm not going to plan this on my own. Let's just have an adventure. So it worked out. It wasn't as expensive. I don't know if it's because we're traveling when we're traveling that it wasn't as expensive as typically it would be to cross the country. And it made it happen.
I would add that to, well, we'll probably talk about that more later too, but just the way you and I do trips together, I remember like taking notes, so we'll get to, but you order all my drinks and food. I'm like, Catherine, what would I like to eat here? You just know. Yeah. And then I'm on the lightning lane duty. I'm like,
please do all the admin and please take care of just all those pieces so I can just walk around and be like, everything's exciting.
But like, I'm totally overwhelmed choosing anything from a menu. And you take care of that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect
let's see.
Partnership.
All right. So what excites you most about the trip? Okay. For me, I'm excited to go. Like, I'm in the era of like, I've done all the things. And now what brings me the most joy is doing it through my kids' lens. Like, so getting to take new people to Disney World or take my kids to new places and getting to experience it through their eyes. So I would say that's probably what I'm most looking forward to. I'm not like, I just gotta ride Guardians. I mean, I am excited to ride Guardians Mission Breakout, but like, I'm really excited for my kids to ride it.
The same thing here. My kids getting to experience the OG park. We're also like a big throwback family where we love like, oh my goodness, like generations of people have been experiencing this and we get to go in and see all this stuff that's been there since the very beginning. So many rides and cool things that aren't at Walt Disney World. It's just a different experience. I didn't realize this until we went. And then the moment that we were at the park together, I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to bring my kids back here.
Oh yeah.
So that, I mean, even just the fact like that the Indiana Jones ride is there, and my son's middle name is Indiana. Indiana Jones is a big thing in our family, so it's just going to be a whole lot of fun and just things they haven't experienced before and just different. Like you said, it's like a different way to experience Disney that we haven't done.
Okay, I have a question for you. So you guys really do appreciate like the original Walt stuff. Yeah. Like I remember I almost said dragging me to the Tiki Room. I mean, it probably was like, and you're like, this is just awesome. And Andy talking about her late husband, Andy. Like, it's just amazing. Walt did it. And I'm like, I hate this. Like, I don't get it. So you guys will see original
Tiki Room, the
It's
first
gonna be-
animatronics that were ever
Yeah.
created, and we're gonna get so excited about it. And in Disneyland, you get to take your Dole Whip inside the Tiki Room,
Oh.
so special experience
Did not know
right
that.
there. But yeah, so cool. And I don't think we're there for the entire experience, but we are very much the people who's like, we are going to get you excited for something that's been there since 1951.
I love it. And you almost got me there with the Tiki Room. Almost. Okay.
But we're going to do it again. I
We're
feel
doing
like I'm just going to wear you down by repetition.
I will do it. I will do it. Okay, the next question is your itinerary and how do you plan your itinerary? So with Disneyland, okay, let's go back to Disney World for a second. 4 parks. I mean, I feel like you could spend 10 days in Disney World and like not even scratch the surface. Disneyland, maybe people who are Disneyland like gurus would say, no, you could spend 10 days here and not scratch the surface. I doubt it. Disneyland just has 2 parks. They're very close to one another and they only have 3 resorts. So I feel like the itinerary, we knew it was gonna be shorter. And so we just have 4 nights in a Disneyland resort. We're staying at the Grand Californian, and then 3 days in the parks, which I think 3 days in the parks with lightning lanes, I think we're gonna be able to accomplish a lot. Do you have anything to add to that?
The only thing is having Walt Disney World be our home park and being people who are willing to put, to get to the end of the day and look at your iPhone and see how many steps you accomplished that day and like feel victorious about it. My kids are that age too, where they're like, I have a teenage boy and he's like, yeah, look how far, like we'll cross anywhere, we'll go to all the different parks, we'll hop, we'll do whatever it takes to do what we want to experience. Disneyland is so cool because the entrance to Disneyland and the entrance to California Adventure are literally across like a sidewalk from each other.
Football field, right?
It's incredible. So you truly can say, hey, oh, cool, we have park hoppers and this line is short in the other park and it's feasible to walk from one to the other, which is just really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for my kids to experience that because I feel like there's just something homey, like you can wrap your arms around it a little more than hop between all the different parks, and just a different experience.
Yeah, I think the park hopper experience, knowing that it's so easy, like pushed us to just go ahead and upgrade to the park hopper. It's almost like, why would you go to Disneyland and not get a park hopper? Like you really get to experience park hopper benefits because it's just so easy to hop. Whereas at Disney World it can take 40 minutes.
And you may get into this later, but the idea that we kind of chose our days and where we started and where we ended based on what was going on in the parks those days, what extra shows and experience, especially around Christmas. There's some cool fun extras that are going to take place. That helped us to decide what day are we starting in this park versus what day are we ending. Oh my goodness, and speaking of our obsession with going like dawn to dusk in the park and experiencing everything we possibly can, Disneyland is open from 8 until midnight most days, so
really.
cool.
I'm really excited about it.
I'm so excited about that. We're gonna be there 3 days. We have to take advantage of every minute. Not that we have, but we have the opportunity to.
No, I know.
Like everyone who loves to go to Disney has been in Animal Kingdom is like, it's closed already? We've been here for 5 minutes. It's closing at 6 p.m. or something. It's so cool that we could start at 8. We could go back and rest and still go out till midnight. And there's just so much more time to experience in 3 days.
I will say it. So the Universal trip, I'm working on putting that vlog out, and I remembered, one park closed at 5 and one closed at 6, and it was a trip with just my 2 boys, and I was so excited. I mean, I didn't.
So
check
you're gonna stay back and I'll like take, go for round 2.
It was like an easy rest. The park's
yeah.
closed. Like we can't do anything. I was gonna add that we could have easily stayed offsite. Disneyland is like right in Anaheim, and tons of hotels that aren't affiliated with Disney. Tons, and we could have saved so much money.
And they're still walkable. Like you can still walk to the park, because that was always the thing at Disney. If you were outside Disney transportation, you're probably renting a car or Ubering or something else.
But we went to I kind of pushed you into the decision, but I really wanted to just experience, like, if we're gonna go, we don't know how many times we're gonna be back. Like, let's go all in. We're doing the Disney resorts. We're gonna hit the easy button on this.
We're definitely in the philosophy, we're going this far.
Yeah,
so we might as well.
Yeah, we dropped the whole, like, let's even try to save money.
It's rationalizing a lot of decisions.
We're going all in. Okay, let's see. Which parks or areas are you planning to visit? This is really easy because there are 2. So, there's Disneyland, Disney's California Adventure, and then Downtown Disney. So we fly in. We have an early flight. We both land at noon. I just randomly at the same time. So we'll probably go to Disney downtown Disney, not Disney Springs, downtown Disney, just to explore it, maybe do some shopping, get the churro toffee, and then we'll do Disneyland and California Adventure. I told you all we have 3 park days, and the beginning where we start on each day was really directed by the early entry for that day. So at Disney World, you have early entry. If you're staying in a Disney resort, you have early entry to all 4 of the parks every single day. But at Disneyland, they pick and choose. So we have 2 days with early entry at Disney's DCA, Disney California Adventure, and then 1 with early entry at Disneyland. So that kind of directed that. Do you have anything to add?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
you covered it.
All right, any must-see attractions, shows, or parades on your list? Yes. Yes.
I feel there are.
I feel like you probably know more
I mean,
than
I
I
could
do.
talk like a little bit about just the Disneyland. There are some areas that feel very, very similar. For example, in Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge is
Yes.
essentially like a copy paste from Hollywood Studios. So those are things that we're like, maybe not
Don't
important
care.
to us because
Yeah.
we have experienced them. But Avengers Campus in California Adventure, it's completely its own thing. So excited to show the
Yes.
boys that. They're going to be so excited. Cars Land, surprisingly
Yeah.
epic and cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think Pixar Pier. That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
unique and completely different.
Who's the travel planner?
I just really like all how the parks are laid out. Also, just the fact that this Pirates of the Caribbean is really, really famous. It's supposed to be longer and exciting. We didn't get to ride it last time because it was closed. So really excited about that one. Caribbean.
Fantasmic's a little different. Fantasmic's a lot the same, but
Yeah.
then I cannot wait for the pirate ship to come out. I'm so excited.
And Fantasyland is so different. So there's some parts that I feel like, my kids are going to be a little bummed because they love like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and some of that stuff. But there's all these like little dark rides that you can't find anywhere else. There's an Alice in Wonderland one that's really cool. There's Pinocchio and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and some of that stuff. Matterhorn, that's a whole coaster that doesn't exist. And I mean, so there's a lot of cool new stuff. The Indiana Jones ride I already talked about. And it's gonna be a lot of fun.
You haven't even mentioned like the special Christmas things that we're doing. Like so I had to call Disneyland for something, and so the lady was just reminding me like, hey, you know about this? And I was like, yeah, but just tell me anyway. Tell me everything you want to tell me. And she was like, the candlelight processional is going to be there while you're there, and it's only there 2 nights at Disneyland. So at Disney World, it's the whole Christmas season and new narrators every night. And at Disneyland, it's 2 nights, and we will be there for one of those nights. So we have that. We have the Small World lights. I'm trying to think. Haunted Mansion overlay.
That.
I'm just thinking of like the Christmas things. The Haunted Mansion overlay, which
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So
which
which
is,
is Nightmare Before Christmas.
yes.
That's gonna be so cool.
let's see, Candlelight Processional song. Tiana's. I mean, we have Splash Mountain, which is Tiana's now, is very different from. And then so I was just kind of going through the category of what do we also have at Disney World, but it's very different here.
Yeah.
So we have
Space Mountain's quite different too.
I love it.
Although
we did Hyperspace, the Star Wars.
I still think it's a smoother ride. My old joints.
Oh yeah,
I like this better.
It's so good. It's so good. I have that picture of. Do you see that picture? I'll find it and put it on here. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
I could not. I was eating an apple in line. I'm telling you, there was nowhere to throw away. There was nowhere to throw away your trash. So I'm like boarding Space Mountain, Hyperspace. And I'm like looking up. There's nowhere. The picture, but that ride, I'm so happy riding that ride. Like I'm just like woo, and there's my eaten apple. It's one of my best memories. Okay, it's so ridiculous. Okay, another question. Dining. They don't have dining plans, but what are our plans for dining and food goals? This is so funny because we already had a shared Google Doc and we have like merch goals, food goals, and so we already had some of this written down. We did make 0 dining reservations. Why did we make we wanted the flexibility.
We wanted the time, like it always eats a block of time when we get dining reservations, and the quick service food is so good. There's so many, and honestly probably more kid friendly. So if we're not going to have a culinary experience, I feel like just let the kids enjoy that
the
stuff.
kids are gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy either way. So we'll just save money and keep it quick. Okay, snacks you're excited to try. Oh, I was like, who put Dole Whip? No one put that. Okay, churro toffee, we already talked about. What are our snack goals? Churros, because the churros in Disneyland are good, like very good. Churro toffee. The Monte Cristo, which you do need to have to take the dining reservation. But so I've had it. It's like a ham sandwich on a donut. It's so good.
It's so good. There's
It's so
like
good.
raspberry jam in there or something. It's
so good.
fantastic.
Beignets, which I have been to Port Orleans French Quarter multiple times for their beignets. So I'm like, okay, I'll be okay if I don't get beignets. And I feel like there is an option if we're never back at Disneyland. There's an option for good beignets at Disney World. Shawarmas, you put that on there, right? I totally agree. I love the shawarmas.
The shawarmas were so good. So it's in like a little cart in Avengers Campus
Yes.
because at the end of the Avengers movie, after they save
Yeah,
the
yeah.
world, they go get shawarma. So that's why
Yes.
they're there, and it's super fun and delicious. But also, we have big pretzels on the list. Where do big pretzels come from?
Pims.
Yeah.
Lab. Okay. I was like, I didn't put that on there. But I know what you're talking about. I'll show a picture. Oh my gosh. I'm adding this to our the experiment drink that from
Yes.
so my favorite drink is at the Pims, not the Pims kitchen, but the Pims like drink area. Yes. Okay.
We have to do the video of the little pretzel turning into the giant pretzel.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Tim's kitchen.
Okay, and then you put on Matterhorn macaroon.
There's the Jolly Holiday Bakery, which is like Mary Poppins theme. That's another thing that they don't really have in Disney World that I thought was so cute. But they have a macaroon, like the little coconut cookie with white chocolate on top that looks like the Matterhorn bobsled mountain. It's so cute.
We got that, didn't we? We got it, and then we got a really good macaroon, and then we got a good like just
grilled cheese and tomato soup.
That's why we do well together too. We just like share.
We want to try more things, so
it's so good. Okay. Packing tips. I have every intention of doing a packing vlog, but this is a surprise trip for my kids if they don't hear me right now talking about this. So my kids have somewhere to be Friday night, and I'm going to try to round up everything and pack. And then I'll probably throw in some differences, like just the humidity's not a problem there. It's gonna be really cold in the morning, but pretty warm. Anyway, we'll get to that. Okay, more goals or content. What are our content like goals, content ideas? This is interesting because I've been wanting to, I haven't even told you this. I've been wanting to share this on Instagram. So when I post a vlog, I'm really wrestling with like, if I'm gonna put all this time into recording, and there is a bit of a sacrifice on your trip to record, and then there's a sacrifice of coming home and editing. Like I just spent 3 hours at a coffee shop this morning just editing my Universal vlog. Like it has to have value for my family. But ironically and sadly, the more value it has for your family, like your kids being silly and all like the fun things, no one cares about that. Like no one, so I'm wrestling with like, I want this to be like, we are capturing memories for the jumps and the Mercers. Like we're capturing memories. And like, this is going to be very helpful for anyone who wants to go on a trip, or even my own clients. Like, hey, here's like, go watch this vlog if you want kind of some ideas. So there's like wrestling with that tension. And then I had other goals, like my merch goals were I gotta get a Christmas ornament. Perfect. I really want that Mickey conductor hat. Have y'all seen it?
No.
So I'm not like huge on Mickey ears, but I really like ball caps. But it's a conductor hat. Like I'm like embarrassed
That's
as
so
I'm
cool.
saying.
No, the train
It's
is such an iconic thing.
That's
so
awesome.
cute.
I really like ball caps. Anyway, so it's a hat with like a little bill and then Mickey ears. And I don't know. Anyway, we'll see if they have it. But they don't have it at Disney World ever. So like this is it. This is my chance. Disneyland.
Okay.
I gotta look it up.
I'm glad you know this.
And then I collect the Starbucks Bin There mugs.
I might have to join you.
So
those are so fun. We get
why
the
do I
little
not have it?
espresso ones and we hang them on our Christmas tree
love
sometimes, which are cute
All
little
ones.
ones. Why would I do that to myself when I could have a big one that I could actually drink coffee
That's-
out of? Why not both?
You
We'll figure it out.
have an espresso machine. Okay. Disneyland tips. Any advice you've researched or plan to test, such as rope drop strategies? Ooh, okay. So like I said, we're staying on site. That gives us the advantage of early entry, but only to the one park. So we thought we had actually made our park pass reservations, and then we're like, oh, we want to work around early entry. So we had to switch some things up. You can purchase your Lightning Lane multi-pass with your ticket. So if you remember what Genie Plus used to be for Disney World, it's still very much almost like that at Disneyland. So you don't book any rides in advance. You purchase your Lightning Lane multi-pass, and then once we scan into the park, we can book our first multi-pass selection. And then I think they still have the 2-hour limit or 2-hour limit or scan in first, which I feel like I mastered that system. So
I was just
I'm ready
gonna say,
to
thank goodness we still get to use that knowledge for something that you spent multiple years
Yes.
mastering and training us all on.
I hope it works in our favor. And then you also, there's like a whole nother lightning lane video to be had about this. You can't go all into it, but just knowing how to prioritize those rides, and just knowing that, you know, if it's 10 a.m. and your return time, you're looking at booking a ride and the return time is 8 p.m., like that ride's about to run out for the day. Like you need to grab it, even if it doesn't feel strategically wise, because now you have to wait, your 2-hour clock starts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know what?
No, that's what you're
We have
so
a
good
guide.
at.
And I'm a good trip.
Yes, I'm so thankful, because it's like, you know what to do when to make it efficient. I am horribly inefficient. I will run back and forth across the park of like, look over there.
Well,
So
I noticed this with my kids when we went to Disney with you in March, and they're like, we really want to ride this ride. I'm like, it's not, we will ride that ride. It's not strategic right now.
Yeah.
Like, and so kids are like, I want this ride and I want it now, but we can understand, like, that's great. We'll get to that ride, but like right now we need to actually go book this other ride because it's about to run out for the day. Although I did watch that March vlog and I was like, we're gonna ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, don't you worry. And then I edited the entire vlog. I'm like, we never rode it. I felt so bad. They don't care. They had a good time. They'll be
they had a great time.
Okay, also knowing which rides are not included in the multi-pass. So they're Radiator Springs at DCA, Disney's California Adventure. That is a single pass, not a multi-pass. So if you want to skip that line, you have to purchase your own, a separate single pass. And then Star Wars Rise of the Resistance at Disneyland is the single pass at Disneyland. We're not going to buy that. We're not even going to buy the Radiator Springs racers, because we'll probably just go straight there. And sorry, I wrote a lot of different notes. Knowing which rides have single rider is going to hopefully work in our benefit too. Like knowing that Radiator Springs has a single rider.
Yeah.
I'm just going to list them real fast, and I'll maybe put them in the video. So at Disneyland, single rider options are Matterhorn, Smuggler's Run, and Space Mountain. And then at DCA, it's Radiator Springs Racers, Incredicoaster, Goofy Sky School. We're not doing that.
Nope.
That was really painful. Grizzly River Run, so fun. Web Slingers, and Soarin'. So if to be eligible to be a single rider in any of these lines, you have to be at least 7 years old. And we're there. My youngest is 8.
We're at the age where this is more efficient. Like everyone's fine riding on their own. They're excited to get to ride more rides, so it's worth it.
My 8-year-old Elon will probably be nervous, but then we experienced this in March at Disney World together, and we'll just put like me in the front of the line and Catherine in the back. That way Catherine will be with him waiting until he rides, and she'll send him on the ride, and then I'll be on the platform when he gets off. And he's still a little apprehensive,
and
but
there might be a couple that we like do once together. Like Web Slingers would be
sure.
really fun to do together. Incredicoaster would be really fun to do together for the first time. But then these rides are so great, you're like, I want to go again. And sometimes that wouldn't have been an option without single rider line.
I feel like for sure we would want to do everything for the first time all together.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Except Goofy Sky School. Because
we're
there are
not gonna do
jokes
that at all.
about you basically need a chiropractor afterwards.
It
It's
is-
like a worse version of Primeval
That's what I was gonna
Whirl.
say. It's like Primeval Whirl at Animal Kingdom, which is no longer there.
But worse.
I mean,
like it doesn't spin.
it hurts.
It's like
It really hurt.
I think
it
my
hurt.
back cracked while doing it. It was,
Matterhorn was less painful.
yeah. And that's the one that's famous for being crazy.
Hold on, while we're on this, the carousel or the Ferris wheel swings or no?
Oh.
So there is an option to either get a gondola that you remember we got the swing.
Oh,
like
I
swings.
forgot about it since you mentioned that.
It's crazy. Or a stationary. We gotta do this. I feel like we gotta do the swinging one.
Yes.
'Cause it's-
We absolutely. I feel like it looks more intimidating than it is.
You gotta watch your brain, your mental space, because if you're in that cage and you're over the water and you're like, if this thing falls off,
And it's literally falling with gravity. So you're already kind of following that trajectory.
we will die. We'll die. If this thing falls in the water, we are trapped in this
No
cage.
one has. We were fine.
Anyway, we'll be fine. Okay, and then last thing I have for whatever question this was, know which rides require virtual queue. This is so interesting. So like right now at Haunted Mansion, the only way to ride Haunted Mansion because of the overlay right now is with a virtual queue.
That seems weird to me.
It's
It's a very like, oh, it's just a ride that's been around forever and no big deal. But I get it because
yeah.
Unless
we find out we're wrong, like it's not a single pass, not a multi-pass, it's not included in multi-pass, so you have to join the virtual queue.
it's got I'm sure. I think the holiday overlay is a really big deal to people.
Yes. And then Tiana's is currently on, you can either ride it through the multi-pass if you have selected as a multi-pass option, or the virtual queue, but you can't just show up. That's really important. And I'm grateful we know these things. Like, you can't just show up and like hop in line to ride these rides. And then interestingly, the World of Color, we experienced this on our trip. The only way to get into the roped off section for World of Color, which is a nighttime show, which is so nostalgic, so good, at Disney's California Adventure, the only way to get in that roped off section is if you have a virtual queue or a dining package, dessert package, which we didn't even talk about. We didn't talk about that for dining.
Right.
Wait, is Isaac? He doesn't know, but it's okay. Which we're not doing, so it doesn't. But it's a great option.
Yes,
It'd be
wouldn't
so
that be so
excited. Okay.
Yeah, like what? No, we're
Okay.
good.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think that's it.
What else are you excited about? What haven't we talked about?
Okay, I'm really excited. So I'm really excited about California, the Grand California. I'm
Yes.
very excited about staying there. That is I keep saying DCA, DVC property, so Disney Vacation Club property, but you can also just book it on your own. It's Disneyland's nicest resort. I want to park or resort hop, so I want to see the 3 Disney resorts. So we stayed at Disneyland Hotel when we were there together.
Right.
Now I'll be staying at Disney's Grand Californian, and then the Pixar Hotel, it got refurbished recently. So I want to go just look at that. Just to have, that's like my Disney travel planner side of me. Like, I just want to go explore.
Yeah.
I want to swim. And it's gonna be hot enough our first day. Okay, what else? I don't know. But
okay. So this might not happen, but if it did, it'd be cool. A Sleeping Beauty lounge just opened in the Disneyland Hotel. I love a Disney lounge because you get to go and just sit down, and it's usually like a cool cocktail menu and cool little snacks and incredible theming. I mean, Margie can attest to her. I drag her to like all the lounges. Like, we're gonna go to lounges now.
I didn't know they like existed. I mean, I knew lounges were a thing. I didn't know people actually went to.
Like, oh, this is like boring grown-up thing. No.
And then I took you to, or I asked you. This was another one of those trips of like, hey, I'm going to Disney for like 2 nights. Was it 1 night or 2 nights? 2 nights. I'm driving down
resorts. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm just going to all the resorts, and we did, minus like Old Key West or Saratoga Springs. And do you want to come? And you're like, I'm in. Like,
we drove.
I'm like, no, you don't
so
understand.
great.
Like, this isn't going to be fun. And it was so. Anyway, so you took me to so many different lounges and like introduced them to me, and now I love them.
I love lounges at Disney World because you can just walk in and sit down. There's usually really cool themed cocktail menus and really like cool small menu, and it's just an experience because they're all themed incredibly. So that would be really fun. That would be something for the grown-ups to hop off and
which we do hope to do.
Yeah.
It's a sit down experience where you get table service, but you can't. Most of them you can't even make a reservation. So it's so good. Like, it's a great last minute. Like, you don't even feel pressure. Nomad Lounge. Sorry, this is a Disneyland. Anyway, Animal Kingdom Nomad Lounge. That would be one where it's like totally worth going. And anyway,
absolutely.
So I'm excited. Yes, and maybe other lounges. And when we say lounge or bars, your kids can come too. We won't be inviting them on that trip. So
sorry guys.
Right, they're not coming to.
No.
Okay. So we're gonna step away.
So so excited about that. I also just love that downtown Disney is also. It's almost like a third prong thing coming from where like Disneyland's on one side, California Adventure's on the other side, and then it's downtown Disney. Because everything's just like so walkable and close to each other. So if we like something, we can just like go out and grab it, and you're not like, this is your one chance. Like that is taken off the table, and feeling like. There's 2 categories of people where one person is like, I did everything I wanted to do. And then there's the other group of people that are like, I just need to do one more thing. I am like a one more thing can't person. So that leaving all of those options open is very satisfying to me.
Okay, you talking about how close they are remind me, our hotel, Disney's Grand Californian, has its own entrance into DCA. So I'm excited to use that too. And I'm very thankful that 2 of our 3 park days early entry is for DCA. So we'll be getting to use that.
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect, and it opens into like the California section of the park, which I remember back when like Disney Channel was on in the year 2000, and that park was opening for the first time, and they did all like the feature stuff where they're like, we're gonna make a park. It's gonna be about California.
Yeah.
In California, and it's at the time it's like, okay, like that's kind of, but it's really cool. Like the theme is
yeah.
beautiful. There's a really cool water ride that's in there. That's probably, is it
So
your
fun.
favorite water ride?
Okay. I'll get you on Popeyes at some time. Popeyes at Universal is like a whole nother level.
Okay.
Okay,
I've
but
said that one.
because you compare it to Cali River Rapids at Animal Kingdom, for all
And
the
it's
Disney
just
ones,
like so
Which
above
is,
and
like,
beyond.
not-
But again,
yeah.
like the theming's beautiful and it does
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, it's trying to capture all the different like aspects of California, which is gigantic, right? So like the trees and
Yeah.
the forests and the rocks and yeah,
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So that's going to be cool and exciting too. And I'm sure there's some snacks and other things
Yeah.
that I forgot.
that might be it for me. I mean, I'm sure there's like so much more, but
We'll just
I'm
have to
excited.
report back. Of
I
what we
think
missed.
our fireworks, the time we went to Disneyland, I think didn't they get canceled?
I think so.
Because the
I think
wind,
that happens.
it's dry and wet.
Yeah.
So we'll get to
pretty
see the
regularly.
fireworks. And then our okay. Okay, I guess that's it, guys. Thank you. So I will be putting out hopefully a packing. That's not a promise because it all just depends on if I can get my kids out the door and I can pack for them that night. But a packing video, and then we should have at least we'll have 3 park day videos. So thank you for watching, and I'm at Main Street with Margie on Instagram if you have any questions or if you want to follow along, and you won't be able to follow along in real time because I think I'm going to put this out after because we just shared all of our personal information. So we gotta be careful. So, but I'm still at Main Street with Margie for other future trips and then Disney tips, tricks, and fun facts. So thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye, guys.